My friend, let me ask you something direct. Have you noticed your energy slipping away, your confidence fading, and your body not responding the way it once did? If you're a man living with diabetes, this isn't just aging, it's a warning signal. There's a single overlooked habit that may be cutting off your circulation, weakening your testosterone response, and draining your masculine strength. Most men think their medication is enough, but they're missing the hidden switch that controls it all. Ignore this habit and you risk losing not just your health, but your vitality, intimacy, and dignity as a man. Stay with me because I'm going to reveal 6 warning signs that this habit is destroying your strength, and one of them is the most dangerous of all. The first sign hits you like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it until you're running on empty. Think of your blood vessels as mighty rivers flowing through your body. With diabetes, sugar crystals act like tiny shards, constantly scraping and scarring the walls of those rivers. Here's what most men don't understand. Without the right daily rhythm, consistent meal timing, balanced blood sugar levels, and proper hydration, your circulation slows like a clogged pipe. As a doctor, I've seen this pattern countless times. Men come to my office complaining of fatigue, but they don't realize their blood vessels are under siege every single day. When glucose levels stay elevated for hours after meals, it creates what we call glycation, literally the binding of sugar to your blood vessel walls. Think of it like rust forming on the inside of pipes, gradually narrowing the passages until water barely trickles through. You wake up groggy, dragging yourself out of bed like you haven't slept at all. Your legs feel heavy as lead walking up stairs that used to be effortless. Exercise that once energized you now feels like dragging chains through mud. Your morning erection, if it happens at all, is weak and doesn't last. You tell yourself it's just another tired morning, but deep down, you know something fundamental has changed. This is your body's circulation system crying for help. When blood flow slows, it can't deliver the oxygen and nutrients your muscles desperately need. More critically, it can't reach the penile tissues that depend on robust blood flow for firmness and sensitivity. Your brain fog isn't just from being tired, it's from decreased circulation to your prefrontal cortex. The science is clear. Diabetes damages the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. This lining produces nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and allows for strong blood flow. When it's damaged by repeated sugar spikes, nitric oxide production plummets. The result? Weaker erections, decreased exercise capacity, and that constant feeling of being drained. But here's what's truly insidious. This circulation problem doesn't just affect your energy. It sets the stage for every other devastating sign I'm about to reveal. Ignore this drain, and your body slowly loses its ability to pump life where you need it most, leaving you weaker, frustrated, and wondering where your masculine strength disappeared. What comes next makes this circulation problem exponentially worse. The second sign burns from the inside out, a fire you can't see but definitely feel. Skipping the overlooked habit of blood sugar rhythm fuels constant low-grade inflammation throughout your body. It's like having a campfire smoldering in your chest that never gets put out. This isn't the acute inflammation from a twisted ankle that heals in days. This is chronic systemic inflammation that burns for months and years, quietly destroying your masculine vitality. Let me explain what's happening at the cellular level. When you eat erratically, skip meals, then overeat or consume high-sugar foods without proper timing. Your immune system treats each blood sugar spike as an attack. It releases inflammatory cytokines, chemical messengers that were designed to fight infections, but instead end up attacking your own tissues. Your joints ache after a simple walk around the block, and you wonder when you got so old. You snap at your partner over small things that never bothered you before. Traffic, a messy kitchen, the neighbor's dog. Your neck feels perpetually stiff, your back throbs even after sitting in your favorite chair, and you can't shake the feeling that your whole body is under siege. Here's the devastating truth. This chronic inflammation specifically targets the areas that define your manhood. It sabotages your Leydig cells in your testicles, the factories that produce testosterone. Like acid eating through metal, Inflammatory molecules corrode your hormone pathways and interfere with the delicate signals between your brain and reproductive organs. But the damage goes even deeper. Chronic inflammation damages the very nerves that control sexual function and sensitivity. It creates something called oxidative stress, where free radicals attack the nerve fibers responsible for arousal, erection, and climax. Your body literally burns itself from the inside out. I've treated men who come in complaining of joint pain, only to discover their inflammatory markers are through the roof. Their C-reactive protein levels, a key indicator of inflammation, are 3 to 5 times higher than they should be. These same men invariably report decreased libido, weaker erections, and that general sense of feeling off all the time. The connection isn't coincidental. Research shows that men with chronic inflammation have testosterone levels 15 to 25% lower than men without it. They also have significantly higher rates of erectile dysfunction, even when controlling for age and other health factors. This silent fire doesn't stay contained in one area. It spreads through your bloodstream like smoke through a house, infiltrating every organ system. When it reaches your pancreas, it worsens insulin resistance. When it hits your cardiovascular system, it accelerates artery damage. And when it invades your brain, it triggers the next devastating sign: energy crashes that leave you feeling like a shadow of your former self. This inflammatory cascade is why some diabetic men feel exhausted even after taking their medications faithfully. The drugs control blood sugar, but they don't address the underlying inflammatory fire that's been burning unchecked. That fire spreads to your energy systems, creating the cruel roller coaster I'm about to describe. The third sign feels like your energy has been hijacked by a cruel puppeteer, and it's destroying your strength in ways you never imagined. When men don't manage the overlooked routine of steady blood sugar rhythm, their glucose levels spike and crash like a violent roller coaster. But this isn't just about feeling tired after lunch. This metabolic chaos is literally rewiring your brain's energy systems and destroying your body's ability to maintain consistent strength and vitality. Here's what happens inside your body during these crashes. You eat lunch, maybe a sandwich, some chips, and a soda. And within 30 minutes, your blood glucose shoots up to 180, 200, even 250 mg/dL. Your pancreas panics and dumps massive amounts of insulin into your bloodstream. This insulin doesn't just lower your blood sugar, it acts like a sledgehammer, driving glucose levels down so fast that your brain goes into crisis mode. Think of it like flooring the gas pedal in your car, then slamming on the brakes, over and over until the engine starts to sputter and fail. Each sugar crash steals energy from your brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, focus, and willpower. That's why you find yourself reaching for coffee, candy, or whatever quick fix is nearby. But here's the part that's truly devastating for men. These energy crashes don't just affect your alertness. They trigger a cascade of hormonal chaos that directly attacks your masculine strength. During each crash, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones were designed to help you survive emergencies. But when they're constantly elevated, they become toxic to testosterone production. You find yourself grabbing snacks late at night, not because you're hungry, but because your brain is desperate for steady fuel. You fall asleep at your desk after meals, fighting to keep your eyes open during important meetings. You need multiple cups of coffee just to feel remotely human, and even then, you're running on artificial stimulation rather than genuine energy. I've had patients describe this cycle perfectly. Doctor, I feel like I'm constantly chasing my energy. I get a burst after eating, then I crash harder than before. By 3 p.m., I'm ready to crawl under my desk. These men aren't lazy. They're trapped in a biochemical prison that destroys their natural energy rhythms. The medical term for this is reactive hypoglycemia, but what most doctors don't tell you is how it specifically impacts male physiology. Each crash episode can lower your testosterone for up to 12 hours afterward. If you're experiencing multiple crashes per day, your testosterone never gets a chance to recover to optimal levels. Research from the American Diabetes Association shows that men with frequent blood sugar swings have testosterone levels averaging 200 to 300 ngdl lower than men with stable glucose patterns. That's the difference between feeling like a vital, energetic man and feeling like you're slowly fading away. But the crashes do something even more sinister. They create insulin resistance in your muscle tissues, making it harder for your body to build and maintain lean muscle mass. Meanwhile, they make your fat cells more efficient at storing energy, particularly around your midsection. You literally lose muscle and gain belly fat with each crash cycle. The cruel irony is that many diabetic men try to solve this with more medication or stricter diets, but they never address the underlying rhythm problem. They're treating the symptoms while ignoring the cause. And meanwhile, this roller coaster is doing something far worse to the most delicate systems in your body. The fourth sign creeps in like a thief in the night, stealing sensation you may never recover. Your nerves are like the electrical wiring in a sophisticated house. They carry signals that control everything from your heartbeat to your ability to feel pleasure. When blood sugar stays unstable due to poor daily rhythm, elevated glucose levels act like acid, corroding the protective myelin sheaths around these delicate nerve fibers. Once that insulation is damaged, the electrical signals that control strength, sensitivity, and masculine performance begin to fail. This is called diabetic neuropathy, and it's one of the most devastating complications of uncontrolled diabetes. But here's what most men don't understand. It doesn't just affect your feet and hands. It specifically targets the autonomic nerves that control blood flow to your penis, the sensory nerves that detect arousal and pleasure, and the motor nerves that trigger orgasm. The process is insidious and progressive. It starts with the longest nerves first, typically in your feet and hands. You might notice your feet tingling when you lie down at night, or your hands feeling numb after gripping the steering wheel during your commute. You tell yourself it's just from sitting too long or holding something too tight, but these are early warning signals that your body's electrical system is under attack. As a physician, I've seen the progression countless times. Men come in complaining about pins and needles in their extremities, not realizing that the same process is happening to the nerves that control their sexual function. The pudendal nerve, which carries sensation from the penis, begins to degrade. The cavernous nerves, which control blood flow during erection, start sending weaker signals. Most concerning of all, you begin losing sensation in intimate areas. Touch that once felt electric now feels muted and distant. Response times slow dramatically. What used to happen naturally now requires conscious effort and concentration. Arousal that once built quickly now takes longer to develop, and when it does occur, it feels somehow disconnected from your body. This is your nervous system breaking down, wire by wire. Think of it like the electrical system in an old house where the wiring has been corroded by decades of moisture. At first, the lights might flicker occasionally. Then they start dimming. Eventually, when you flip the switch, nothing happens at all. But here's the part that should terrify every diabetic man. Nerve damage from high blood sugar is often irreversible. Unlike other tissues in your body that can heal and regenerate, nerve fibers have extremely limited ability to repair themselves once they've been damaged by glucose toxicity. The medical research is unambiguous. Studies show that men with uncontrolled diabetes have a 75% chance of developing some degree of erectile dysfunction within 10 years of diagnosis. But it's not just about erections, it's about the complete loss of sexual sensation and response that makes intimacy feel mechanical rather than pleasurable. I've treated men in their 50s and 60s who describe their sexual experience as going through the motions. They can achieve erection with medication, but they've lost the sensitivity that makes the experience truly satisfying. They describe feeling disconnected from their own bodies during intimate moments. The tragedy is that much of this damage is preventable. Consistent blood sugar control can preserve nerve function, but only if you catch it early. Once the nerves are gone, they don't regenerate. The numbness becomes permanent. Your strength, sensitivity, and masculine response slip away forever, leaving you with a body that can perform mechanically but can no longer truly feel. And this nerve damage doesn't just affect sensation. It creates a domino effect that devastates the hormone systems that define your manhood. The fifth sign strikes at the very core of what makes you a man: your testosterone production system. Here's what's happening at the biochemical level that most men never understand. Testosterone production requires a delicate orchestra of hormonal signals between your brain, pituitary gland, and testicles. This system, called the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, is exquisitely sensitive to metabolic stress. Every blood sugar spike sends shockwaves through this system, disrupting the precise timing and coordination needed for optimal hormone production. Chronic high blood sugar does something particularly insidious. It increases the production of sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, a protein that binds to testosterone and makes it unavailable for use. Think of it like having money in the bank, but all your credit cards are frozen. Your total testosterone might look normal on a blood test, but your free testosterone, the amount actually available to your tissues, plummets. You stop feeling that natural morning drive that used to get you going, that confident energy you woke up with in your younger years. The feeling that you could tackle anything the day threw at you starts fading like a radio signal, getting weaker and weaker. Your workouts don't deliver the same muscle building results, even when you push yourself harder than before. But the changes go deeper than just energy levels. I've seen men in my practice whose wives describe them as becoming different people. The assertiveness and confidence that once defined their personality gradually erodes. They become more passive in their relationships, less decisive at work, and more likely to avoid challenges they would have embraced in the past. Your belly starts growing even when you're trying to eat right and exercise regularly. This isn't just about calories, it's about hormone signaling. Low testosterone makes it nearly impossible to maintain lean muscle mass while simultaneously making your body more efficient at storing fat, particularly around your midsection. That spare tire isn't just unsightly, it's a visible sign of hormonal decline. But here's the cruelest aspect of this hormonal hijacking. The belly fat you're gaining actually makes the problem worse. Adipose tissue, especially visceral fat around your organs, contains an enzyme called aromatase that converts testosterone into estrogen. So not only are you producing less testosterone, but what little you do produce is getting converted into female hormones. Research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology shows that men with diabetes have testosterone levels averaging 150-200 ng/dL lower than non-diabetic men of the same age. But it's not just the quantity, it's the quality. The testosterone that diabetic men do produce is less effective due to increased binding proteins and inflammatory interference. Most devastating of all, intimacy starts feeling like a chore rather than a desire. This isn't because you don't love your partner or find them attractive. Your brain simply isn't receiving the hormonal signals that create spontaneous desire and arousal. What once felt like a natural, powerful drive now requires conscious effort and mental stimulation. I've had patients describe it as losing their spark. One 58-year-old man told me, "Doctor, I feel like I'm becoming invisible, even to myself. My wife is beautiful and loving, but I just don't feel like a man anymore." This isn't psychological weakness, it's biochemical reality. The domino effect continues. Low testosterone leads to poor sleep quality, which further suppresses hormone production. It causes insulin resistance to worsen, which creates more blood sugar instability. It reduces motivation for exercise, which accelerates muscle loss and fat gain. Every aspect of the masculine physiology begins to unravel. But this hormonal decline isn't just about feeling less masculine during the day. It sets the stage for the most dangerous sign of all, one that strikes when you're supposed to be recovering and restoring your strength. The deadliest trap doesn't happen when you're active and alert. It happens in the darkness, when you think you're safe. The sixth and most dangerous sign happens in your bedroom, but not the way you might think. This overlooked habit of blood sugar rhythm is intimately connected to your sleep architecture, and the consequences extend far beyond just feeling tired. When you eat late at night or let your glucose spike before bed, you're essentially leaving the gates of your fortress wide open while enemies roam freely through the night, systematically destroying every system that keeps you strong and vital. Sleep is when your body performs its most critical repair and restoration functions. It's when testosterone production peaks, when growth hormone surges to rebuild muscle tissue, when your brain clears metabolic waste, and when your cardiovascular system recovers from the day's stresses. But unstable blood sugar turns this healing sanctuary into a battlefield. Here's what happens when you go to bed with elevated blood glucose. Your sympathetic nervous system, your body's fight or flight response, stays partially activated all night long. Your heart rate remains elevated, your cortisol levels stay high, and your body temperature regulation becomes erratic. Instead of dropping into the deep, restorative stages of sleep, you spend most of the night in light, fragmented sleep that provides no real recovery. You toss and turn, unable to find the deep, restorative sleep your body desperately needs. You wake up feeling like you never truly rested, dragging through each day more exhausted than the last. Your mind feels perpetually foggy, your energy stays chronically low, and you can't shake the feeling of being perpetually run down. But this isn't just about fatigue, it's about systematic destruction of your masculine physiology. During normal, healthy sleep, your testosterone production follows a precise circadian rhythm. It peaks during REM sleep, typically in the early morning hours, which is why healthy men often wake with strong morning erections. But when blood sugar disrupts your sleep architecture, this testosterone surge gets blunted or eliminated entirely. Studies show that men with disrupted sleep patterns have testosterone levels 10 to 15% lower than men who sleep soundly. But the sleep disruption creates an even more vicious cycle. Poor sleep increases insulin resistance, making it harder for your body to process glucose effectively. This leads to higher blood sugar levels the next day, which creates more sleep disruption the following night. Each restless night makes your diabetes worse, and worsening diabetes makes your sleep worse. The cardiovascular impact is particularly devastating. During deep sleep, your blood pressure normally drops by 10-20%, giving your heart and blood vessels a chance to recover. But when sleep is fragmented by blood sugar instability, this nocturnal dipping doesn't occur. Your cardiovascular system never gets a break, leading to accelerated damage to the very blood vessels you need for strong circulation and firm erections. Here's why this is the most dangerous trap of all. Poor sleep creates a cascade that amplifies every other sign I've described. It worsens circulation by preventing vascular repair. It increases inflammation by disrupting immune function. It makes blood sugar crashes more severe by impairing glucose metabolism. It accelerates nerve damage by preventing neuroprotective processes. It devastates hormone production by disrupting the circadian rhythms that govern testosterone release. Each restless night makes the next day harder, and each hard day makes the next night more restless. The sleep debt accumulates, and with it, the damage to every system that defines your strength as a man. This isn't just about feeling tired. It's about watching your vitality systematically dismantled, one sleepless night at a time. The medical research is terrifying. Men with chronic sleep disruption have a 300% higher risk of erectile dysfunction, a 200% higher risk of heart disease, and significantly accelerated rates of cognitive decline. But perhaps most concerning, they show measurable shrinkage in brain regions responsible for decision-making and impulse control, making it even harder to maintain the healthy habits needed to break the cycle. This sleep disruption doesn't just make you tired. It silently accelerates heart disease, deepens erectile decline, weakens your immune system, and locks you into a cycle of metabolic dysfunction that becomes harder to break with each passing month. When your body can't recover at night, it can't fight back during the day. And that, my friend, is how men lose their strength, their vitality, and ultimately their identity, one restless night at a time. My friend, do you see the devastating pattern now? These aren't random problems that just happen with age, and they're not separate, unrelated symptoms you have to tackle one by one. Every single sign, the slow circulation drain that robs your strength, the silent inflammation fire that burns your vitality, the energy crashes that hijack your focus, the nerve numbness that steals your sensitivity, the hormone hijack that undermines your manhood, and the restless night trap that prevents recovery. They're all connected to one overlooked habit that diabetic men must master. That habit is your daily blood sugar rhythm. The simple but absolutely critical act of controlling when, how, and what you eat, especially avoiding those devastating late-night sugar spikes, is the foundation that either supports your masculine strength or systematically destroys it. It's the hidden switch that either restores your power or silently robs you of everything that makes you feel like a man. As a physician who has treated thousands of diabetic men, I've seen this pattern play out repeatedly. The men who master blood sugar rhythm, who eat consistent, balanced meals at regular times, who avoid the late night snacking that spikes glucose before sleep, who understand that timing is just as important as the medications they take. These men maintain their strength, their energy, their sexual function, and their confidence well into their later years. But the men who ignore this rhythm, who think their medications alone are enough, who dismiss these warning signs as just getting older, they lose more than just their health. They lose their vitality, their confidence in the bedroom, their energy for the activities they love, and ultimately, their sense of identity as strong, capable men. The science is clear. Consistent blood sugar control doesn't just prevent diabetic complications. It preserves the circulation, reduces the inflammation, stabilizes the energy, protects the nerves, maintains the hormones, and ensures the quality sleep that keeps you functioning as a vital masculine man. Ignore these warning signs, and you risk losing more than just your energy. You risk your cardiovascular health, your sexual function, your cognitive sharpness, your emotional stability, and your physical strength. But pay attention, take action, and fix this overlooked rhythm, and something remarkable happens. Your circulation begins flowing powerfully again. Your inflammation subsides, your energy stabilizes, your nerves start healing, your testosterone rises to healthy levels, and your sleep becomes truly restorative. You are not broken, my friend. You are not finished. You are not condemned to a slow decline into weakness and dysfunction. With consistent attention to blood sugar rhythm, with the discipline to eat at regular times, to avoid late-night glucose spikes, to treat this habit with the same importance as taking your medications, you can begin rebuilding the strength, vitality, and masculine confidence you thought was gone forever. So tell me in the comments, which of these 6 warning signs have you noticed in your own life? Have you felt that slow drain of energy? The inflammation that makes everything ache? The crashes that leave you desperate for coffee? The numbness that's stealing your sensitivity? The hormone changes that are affecting your confidence? The restless nights that leave you exhausted? Don't suffer in silence, and don't accept decline as inevitable. Share this video with a brother, father, or friend who needs this wake-up call, because every man deserves to know that these problems aren't just part of aging. And subscribe to our channel for more science-backed insights about protecting and restoring men's health, because your strength, your vitality, and your identity as a man are worth fighting for and absolutely worth preserving.